here it comes. This is Battle Aces. Epic Games, get out of my face. All right.
Enemy is building a resource base.
So this is a Blink airship and Falcon game, and these are all unit names. I assume something is the name Blink in this game. Versus, or maybe it is talking about the ability, I don't know. Recall with Dragonfly Harass. Is this a tutorial? Not really. This is kind of just like an example of what the game is going to look like.
N60.
You actually get to, basically we're looking at some gameplay together overall. The game looks...
I have arrived. Horizon. We serve the prime.
Graphically it looks nice overall. Looks clean.
Standing strong. Prime loaded.
Are there confirmed multiple races?
Prime.
I know nothing so far. So I'm learning with you guys right now, honestly. They haven't really like said shit. So we're getting a first look right now. Like right there, we can see
Enemy tech is...
There's 8 units. I don't think that's all the units in the game. I think that you probably make a selection of these units, would be my guess. It's probably something more similar to like ViBElol, if you watch me play that. Like in terms of unit choice.
Turning on. Resource base warmed up and working.
But again, I don't know. We're watching it together. We're learning right now. Going from nothing to something.
Standby. Horizon. Max charge. We serve the prime.
He's still macroing.
I am Blink.
So you still macro in this game, just so you guys know, just so you're watching what's happening right there. We're watching a player's perspective right now. And we're literally watching the bottom left corner here, and he's macroing. Also, let me move my camera actually, because you guys are actually missing some of the UI. Where can I go? That would be out of the way. How about that? I'll just get my camera out of the way. I don't want you to not see some of the UI.
There.
The bottom right has a mini-map.
Prime loaded. Firing on the enemy.
I wonder if you could actually customize it. Yeah, so Blink is the ability, obviously. He just blinked.
Prime.
Enemy is building a resource base.
Together.
Starting Starforge.
Charged. Blink selected. Aim for max damage. Blink.
So just looking at what I'm looking at, this game looks like it's like a domination style RTS. And what that means, again, I haven't played it. I have not played it. I will play it in 6 days, but so far I have not played it. So these are all my genuine first impressions. And from the way it looks, this game just has automated resource. It has like the more bases you own, the more resource you get overall. This game looks, honestly, in a weird way, this game looks kind of like Zone Control to me, which is cool. Like, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's just a lot of like action and micro fighting.
Horizon.
And Zone Control was a custom game in Starcraft 2, for anyone who doesn't know. It was pretty fun. It was fast-paced, like just battles. I played it quite a bit back in League's Liberty. Like it was actually like a running joke at the Root House that like every time I would, like every day, my ritual to like start, not everybody would pay attention to this, but like some people did, like Drewby did. But I would like literally play Zone Control like daily at the Root House, like 1 match a day. Did you watch the cast? I have not watched the cast.
Resource base warmed up and working.
Teleportation charged.
Other than David Kim's presentation he did at the game show,
selected.
Right now, this is the only thing I've seen so far for this game.
Blink on standby.
So I'm very, I don't know anything right now yet.
Horizon.
Are there spellcasters and healers in this game? Maybe. We'll find out.
Enemies of the collect. Blink moving.
Workers!
Cannon firing. Going there. Prime loaded.
Workers.
You got a resource base taking fire. Cover it.
Okay, so maybe this represents how many workers you have, and maybe your workers are like just automated workers like wisps in Warcraft 3, where they just like, you just make it and it just starts getting you money for you. You don't have to like ever transition it, move it. Maybe. I don't know. Like all these timers here, maybe this is like the time it takes for like resources to tick or something.
This area. Where am my brothers.
You got a resource space taking fire. Cover it.
Blink, prime. We are on our way. We can blink.
At the ready.
Just hang out.
Looking.
Whoa!
Look at the timer at top middle too.
Okay.
It's like counting down, not up.
1
So
over 5.
the games are
Workers
10
under
minutes
attack.
Ready for ground.
Inbox in.
because that's what it started at.
Marking and firing. No risk.
Units under attack.
Airship selected. Positive.
On station.
Just hang out. Whoa!
Oddly enough, I'm gonna pause it again. Oddly enough, I feel like this game is gonna be like playing ViBElol with micro, which is fucking that sounds fun.
Beyond.
Teleportation charge.
1 over 5. Magnetic solid.
Units in combat.
It's not exactly the same thing as ViBElol, but ViBElol is a good representation for what this game is
Blink on standby.
more similar to, I think.
Airship selected.
Units reporting damage.
Hang out. Cut us loose.
You can see in bottom right too, like the mini map. There's 4 base versus 3 base.
On the perch. New location is
Maintain.
crowd.
1 over 5. Open ground. Covering ground.
Welcome.
Okay.
At the ready. On station. Okay. Over there.
Magnetics optimal. Marking headwind. Snow airship selected.
Workers getting flanked.
Whoa!
In with Falcons ready.
Exposed rear.
On.
Workers down.
What's up, bud? How's the game? I'm not playing right now. I'm just
At
watching.
the ready. Down, down,
I haven't
down.
played yet.
Okay. Airships moving.
You got a resource space destroyed.
Release.
On station. Welcome. Ready on dock in on the.
I wonder how
At welcome on
expensive a base is.
Dock in ready crowd.
Okay.
The resources are going up relatively
On the
fast off of only 3
Cover
base.
ground from here.
Like
to
he's
there.
going up about like 100 resource every
1 over 5.
1.5 seconds, 2 seconds.
Ready in for
Maintaining altitude. No risk.
Probably more like 3 seconds actually.
on the crowd.
Inbox in. Magnetics optimal.
Beyond on ready
1 over.
on the
Just hang out. Airship
crowd.
maintaining altitude.
Welcome.
Marking
Beyond.
That one voice is so out
Ready
of
for crowd.
Cut us loose. Magnetic. Navigating wind patterns.
It looks really clean.
On
It looks
beyond.
nice.
Every win is earned.
And that was an example of one game right there. That was a full game. I think took 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, for almost 6 minutes. This is what a 2v2 looks like.
Enemy resource base warmed up and
The maps are small. You can see map again in bottom right. And I don't know how you can tell where the resource nodes are, but maybe they're the icons in the middle, so there's 5
From the
bases.
sun, scorp score. Engine running.
But I don't know if you
All
can
my
like set up
riders
bases wherever
ready.
you want though.
Cut the chatter. Call the attack. Get 'em swarms ready. Select the enemy. We move together. Melee engagement. We command. How far away? Give me a crack at 'em.
It's like
Claw
speedlings.
at full power. In the dirt. Pick an efficient.
Your buddy just called. Enemy tech is turning on. Starting. Enemy tech is turning on. Be ready.
Scorp score. 707 engine running. Iron ready. Sharp blades. Scurrying. Forward.
Yeah, like they're focus firing these little like things inside. Maybe those are like generation of resource
Call the attack.
in like the pools or whatever. like the beds,
Enemy is
the orange
building
and
a
black things.
resource base warmed up. and
Definitely resource
Select
related.
the enemy. Command matching orders.
Then you can, it looks like you can also see your opponent's selection of units too, right there when like they
From
just
the
opened up that window.
subs. Get us in close.
I'm gonna definitely
Get 'em
probably
surrounded.
play a lot of range units in this game and just try to like micro it up, kite. I feel like you could probably
In the
get so
dirt.
efficient with that.
Ugh. Optimal range 0.
Foundry ready.
Melee engagement. Score.
Me?
Engine running. Get
Come, brothers.
iron. Cut the
Me?
Call the attack. Or
Right.
select the enemy.
Which one? Go.
Command.
Awaiting proximity. Mark the target.
Okay, banelings.
In the dirt. Claw at full power. Mine come down. Ugh. Claws up. Score.
We are here, ready to blast. Others,
Engine running. Marching orders.
So it does look like every unit is
me.
gonna be
Me.
mech.
Let's go.
I don't know if how much I like that exactly.
Explosive. Come, brothers. Ooh,
If that's how it is.
explosive.
I do kind of like the whole idea of
Iron ready.
like biological units and stuff. It just looks cool to watch a fight,
Me.
other than just robot versus robot.
Ooh, now, moving.
But it's I think mass robots is overall fine.
Prime. Which one? Racing for birds, awaiting proximity.
Might be like really loud.
Units in combat.
We can't wait. Ready to blast. Others armed. Me.
I am very pleased by how the game visually looks though, and how it looks like the units move. Like I love the fact that there's a lot of different pacing units. That's so that's so much more interesting. Yeah, that was fast.
Victory.
That literally was just like a baneling bust with like a push. It was like banelings breaking it in and just like 2 rounds of units, just like a big battle back and forth, and then the game ends in 3.5 minutes. What are comeback mechanics in this game? I haven't played it yet, but I would assume a comeback mechanic in this game is literally micro. Micro plus good decision making with units. I imagine there are. So here's an example. From the way it looks like you pick a roster. It looks like you pick a roster. So a comeback mechanic would really be dictated on what your roster even is. Like what if your entire, so it looks like 8 units is the roster from what I've seen so far. And what if your roster was all 8 units are like cheap, aggressive, all-in units? Like possibly, right? Well, then you don't really have a comeback mechanic. You're like, your strat now is all in as fuck until someone's dead. Either you crush them or they defend and then they kill you. But like, if you don't give yourself a bigger unit, it would look like that, because I imagine there's going to be choice in this game, right? They're not just going to have like force you to play units. Maybe you could even play random though. I don't know. But yeah, like it definitely looks like there's multiple units. They're not using the same thing every time. That was the first time I saw the Baneling unit right there. And then the Shredder mob, like the Speedling looking mob. It's tug of war with defender's advantage from closer reinforcements and you push back. No other comeback mechanic that I saw. Yeah, so realistically, the comeback mechanic in this game literally is whatever units you have. Like, do you know how to utilize them, and do you know how to counter whatever you're dealing with? This is not something that I can tell you right now. It's something that you can figure out in the game once you're playing it. Like, for instance, just in Starcraft terms, on a piece of paper that Blizzard would write, they would say a Baneling is a counter to a Marine or a Zergling or whatever. A light armor unit that's like massable and it will just get destroyed by Banelings, right? But then if you have like a really high level player playing as the Marines, suddenly a Baneling is not necessarily the greatest counter anymore because this person has ridiculous micro. Like, and if this person, like, if this game is all micro, you're going to get like the best micro out of everybody because there's not going to be, underlying job of macro the entire time. You're just going to be able to focus on every fight. So like you genuinely, your comeback mechanic in this game is how good are you at micro? Like how good can you micro overall? And if that's, you know, we'll see, right? That'll be really interesting. This is another game. Another 2v2.
And your buddy just called in a resource base.
Have I tried WW2 inspired RTS? World War II inspired RTSs? I mean,
Is this for Venus? Attack and attack. This is we
my RTS is mostly Age of Empires, and then number one would be Blizzard. Any other RTS, I've barely ever played it. Not much at all.
This is for Venus.
But I've played RTS, like Blizzard RTS, for over 20 years. I've never played Company Heroes at all. Actually, that's not true. I played Company Heroes 3 for like 6 hours. I played it for about 6 hours. And I've never played 1 or 2. And then Minute War, I've never played that either.
Your buddy just called in a resource base.
In Company Heroes, I didn't really enjoy Company Heroes as much. I really feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I really feel like environment and universe and everything does matter. And I really like the bright, vibrant color in this. I feel like it definitely makes it fun. It makes it more interesting, more fun. For me, I like looking at fights when they're flashy looking. And I remember in Company Heroes 3, like, I remember there was just like some units that were like real shit, like real hard countery bad. And I remember I made a few units a few times, and I was just like, oh, these units are apparently not what you're supposed to make right now because they're literally awful. They're so bad. I remember I made this like thing that I thought was a tank, but it was actually an anti-tank, and I was trying to shoot infantry with it, and it was pretty pathetically bad. And then I just got destroyed. And I remember it just, obviously you're new at the game, right? But like, I don't know. I was not having the most fun. I'll say it like that. When I played Company Heroes 3, I was not having like a lot of fun. It was okay. But I played for a few hours and then I ended up quitting. I only played it for 1 day. I don't even know if I played for 6. I might have played for like 4. I'm just kind of guessing. I remember streaming it one time and then I quit. I was like, nah. I don't think I played it multiple days. If I did, there is a possibility of that. But yeah, I just remember I didn't have that much fun, honestly. I didn't really ever want to go back.
Leveling rifle. Movement speed. Slow. Arbitration.
Like, you can just look at the units moving too. Like, this does not, like Company Heroes, for example, is a good example, right? In terms of like a different kind of game. Like the units do not move very well. Let's just say almost every RTS that I've played that it's not a Blizzard RTS, everything is just like slowed down. It's very like everything is slow. It's not just like one type of unit is slow. It's like the whole game is on slow motion, and everyone's like, it's like you're like a commander on a hill, and you have like squares of formations of infantry, and like you're like a medieval commander, and you're like, all right. Left guys, front guys, whatever, cavalry, go forward, attack, and even like horses and shit like are like really slow, like because it's just like a slowed down game. And this game, like I just look at units move around and they're really fast, and it's just I actually prefer this kind of RTS. I like faster paced RTS. It's just more fun. So like, I'm not trying to say a realistic RTS is a bad thing. I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, don't have it real. Like I want a guy with a fucking spear to run as fast as like, a boulder flying down a hill or something, or like getting like a catapult, like launching it. Like I want a guy to run just that fast as well. Like obviously that's not real, right? But it's not as fun in my opinion either. I definitely think it's more fun to play a game that's like sci-fi and it's crazy, and like for instance, it doesn't have to be like futuristic. Like I loved Warcraft 3, and even Warcraft 3, it's like I would say Warcraft 3 seems like you could say that it's slowed down because the fights last longer, but I feel like Warcraft 3 even as well is like a faster paced game. Like you can literally get from one side of the map to the other with like in under a minute. a lot of these other RTSs genuinely have a worker in like the corner of the map and just be like, run to the other side. And if nothing kills it, you'd be like 17 minutes later, it made it. Like the worker's just like, he's like going on the Lord of the Rings fucking quest. Like he's just going through all these different terrains. Like he goes over some mountains and shit. And you're like, damn, like this is, it's just slowed down. It's so much more slowed down.
We have been selected.
You prefer fantasy over sci-fi? I like sci-fi overall, but yeah, fantasy definitely would be like my number one for RTS. I like it when it's interesting. I like it when it's fast. I like it when it's exciting. I definitely think like a strategy game is fun when it's like Civ style every once in a while, but not daily. Literally not daily. Like if I have to play a game that's as slow as fucking Civ or like something within that ballpark range of speed of a game where it's like one game is going to take over hours to play, like it's just not as interesting. It's just not, like playing it once in a while sounds really fun, but playing it every day sounds like it's a headache. Can you show us gameplay at the same time? Can this guy talk and show gameplay at the same time? I don't have a lot to go through. I'm just trying to have a conversation, dude.
Defense of the lady. Here or there.
Resource base warmed up. Enemy is building a resource base.
All right. But yeah, I like the way it looks. It's so sick.
This is for Venus.
Like this game looks very microable, and it's gonna be fast.
Plasma firing.
Starting Starforge. Enemy tech is turning on. Your buddy just called. Enemy tech is turning on. Be ready.
Full heat.
Is this better than Frost Giant's game? I haven't played this yet, so it's hard to say.
Recall attacking.
And like, dude, this game's been going for 2 minutes, and we're already on 4 bases here for both players. I mean, I guess it's a 2v2. Maybe you just start with 2 bases for everybody. Yeah, that's how it works.
It's going to take a while.
Because again, this is a 2v2.
Hustling to location. In defense of the lady. Sinking fire. Multiple recalls. We have been selected.
I'm probably going to use that unit that's talking a lot right now. The unit this guy's using, that we're watching the perspective of. I'm probably going to play that unit a lot, honestly. I feel like this unit, I'm telling you guys right now, watch this shit, dude. This unit right here, this Q unit, this boy with the big gun, it's going to be the first unit that's going to be used a lot that wins a tournament, probably. I'm gonna throw it out there. This unit, I don't know how many units have blink, but if it's a specific trade to that unit, I feel like it's gonna be used a lot.
Okay, selected.
Enemy tech is turning on. Be ready.
That's right.
A ranged blink attacking unit.
Need butterflies? Woo! We made it! Fresh breeze.
I wonder how like armor types in this game are. I wanted to see like
Where are my buddies?
Yes.
how hard counter the hard counters in this game actually can be.
We love war!
I feel like hard counters are really
Enemy tech.
We are so ready!
kind of iffy if they're too extreme. Definitely takes away a lot of the fun factor if you make it too extreme on that.
From above! Ground!
Like, there's gotta be some AoE units in this game that could just like punish this kind of a playstyle.
Riding the wave!
These guys are they're all so clumped up with just mass.
Exposed rear. Workers down.
They should invite you to the beta. So far it's been an alpha. I was not invited to the alpha, but it's going into beta in 6 days, and I am in the beta, or I will be.
Updating.
Where are my
Exiting. Careful.
Come on, let's go! Butterflies, attack!
Calculating.
Okay, that's a big unit.
Up and away!
Hi, yo, what up? That flying unit is doing so much damage.
Side by side. Shifting location. Advanced recall select. Recall locations. Loading.
Looks like they're dead, whoever we're watching here. That big unit is ridiculous as well. It's such a tank. So there, that's kind of a big unit.
Yes. One and
Leveling rifle. Red.
Resource base destroyed. Keep your head up and bounce back.
Okay. It costs 3,000 matter and 100 supply. I mean, that was a big unit right there. That was pretty big. I have so many Clem vs. Parting games. What the hell? A bonus 2v2. Here, let's watch another 2v2. I want to see another 2v2. It's like, there we go. If Vibe were the best bee, he'd be ViBElol. Oh shit. Oh. Is everyone on Twitch? It'll come over. Or I'll come over. Yeah, so I'm dual streaming right now. But I can still see what you're talking about. But yeah, a lot of more of my viewers are on Twitch. My YouTube community is definitely becoming brand new for the live stream portion. It's kind of quiet this time. The music's nice. This is inside the game. It's quiet. I don't know whose perspective this is, but I don't mind the music. It's not too much. I feel like if you focus fire in this game, you would be so good. Like everyone is just A-moving in these videos. Obviously it's an alpha, so, but people will get way better over time. But I feel like if you really know how to focus fire, and like stutter backwards, that would be really good. But yeah, it definitely seems like some units in this game are extremely powerful. More so than maybe even like in Starcraft 2. Like there's no unit in Starcraft 2 that is literally as powerful as that big octopus thing we just like wipe out the last game. And it actually is so fast. We've been watching this game for right now 2 minutes. And so much has happened already. Like the game could have honestly ended if either side made a really bad play. The pacing is really, really fast. Can we figure out what happens when the timer expires? I have not seen a single one go to 10 minutes yet. I think this is like the 4th game I'm watching now. And yeah, not one has gone to 10 minutes. Those are big. Those are like definitely anti-melee. The winner is the highest point scorer. I feel like, I wonder if there's going to be like tournament rules for this game that are different than like ladder rules. Because I don't know if that will always make sense. Like there might be a game where like people will be like, oh my god, these guys are winning right now. But they're like, at the exact moment when they were winning the game, they're not the current high score. But the game, like the timer ends. I guess it does create strategy around it too. So like you don't put yourself in that position either. It actually does also prevent people from turtling, which is one of the most boring things to watch. Like, I will say, just by the way this game looks, I feel like this game will be, definitely, as long as the visuals are pretty, I feel like it'll be a pretty interesting game to watch, because it'll be so fast-paced. You're never gonna have a bunch of downtime. So I wonder, like, what the purpose of these middle nodes are. I'm assuming they're just like resources that you're never going to be able to take back. Like the game probably spawns you with bases, and if you lose them, they don't come back. But I don't know. A lot of speculation. I'll definitely have more answers for. Oh, okay, there's that big thing. I'll definitely have more actual answers when I actually get to play it. It does look sick though. I like how clean it looks as a game. The units look like they would respond well. This looks very microable. Like it's just smooth. Oh my god, one of those. I thought those were banelings for a second, but those are not banelings. I really do like a lot of the speed differences of these units though. There's definitely a lot of shit you can do. Like I bet that unit is probably such a good counterattacking unit. And you could probably force people to make units they don't want to make by just running away as soon as they make it, maybe. Seems like people can make an army in like 1 second in this game. Is there a fog of war in this game at all? Like, we're watching caster perspective, I think. Or are we, maybe we are actually watching player perspective. There is fog of war? Okay. I was gonna say, if there's not fog of war, that seems, I don't know if I like that, because that takes away so much strategy. All you can see on the map is their expansions. Yeah, it seems like this game is over. Like, it looks like they're like out of money. Once your workers start dying, it really seems like you you just have no money anymore. Oh, it's a base trade. Sudden death at the last minute. Oh, that's not dying. Or, whoa, okay, those things are very tanky. They're just going for score right now. I guess this is good. We're gonna see what happens at 10 minutes. Maybe. Apparently that unit's doing like almost no damage. It's doing negative damage to this building. I would expect this unit to like kill each one of those in like 10 seconds or max. That big octopus thing. It seems like it's super strong. Oh shit, sudden death! Does everything explode? Okay. So it's just like, yeah, it just pulls from the score. It's fine. And I imagine like resources collected as score and everything like that. They balance Kraken to do less damage to cores to stop base rushing with it. Yeah, no, I mean for sure. I would hope so. Like, but there's like obviously always problems with everything that come out over time. Let's watch this. Where is okay? So we have 3 right here. This is a pro match, guys. Clint versus Parting. This is what the current pro level scene looks like in Battle Aces. No 2v2. No developer. Pro gamer. So 2v2 never be legit for SC2 at tournament level. I feel like it could be for this one. Oh, it definitely could be for this one. I feel like this game could actually be even bigger than 2v2 if they really, if they had no like network code problem. This game could actually go above 2v2 as well. I feel like if this game was like a 4v4, like pro level 4v4, this could be fucking so sick sometimes. Like if you actually have like strategy where it's like, all right, we're gonna like separate everyone's unit choices to like make a composition, and we're all gonna work together to like micro a composition together, and we're gonna like be flexible with how the we need to move with the terrain and how they're doing it, the opponents and stuff. I feel like it could be really sick. I'm not saying it guaranteed is gonna be like that. I have no idea what their full plans are, but I love that they're at least doing 2v2. Have I ever won a game versus Parting and Clem in SC2? Yes. Clem is a maybe because Clem is like 20 years after my time, but Parting, yeah. I've beaten Parting in games before, and Parting has beaten me in games before. Clem didn't even come around though until like 2018 or some shit. He's definitely a Legacy of the Void baby. And I retired in 2014. Well, really 2015. So he literally was starting his career when I was already retired. I mean, it looks clean. And this, you know what this also reminds me of in a weird way? It reminds me of just like what Zerg vs. Zerg feels like when it's like Roach versus Roach. Like both players are just constantly like parade pushing across the map towards each other. Or like when a Terran player is doing like a tank push. And they just keep trailing bio behind it. It looks really fun though. The game looks good. It's definitely constant. I feel like in this game, if you just like can open up early and just like maximize one good trade, it would become so hard for your opponent to attack you because you could just like always have an advantage of units on them. And stuff like that, like a couple air units, that's going to be so important. I really, really think that's going to be so important. Because you can definitely shave off advantages too by killing workers and wasting their resources. Bro, I can't wait to play this game actually. Should be fun. Oh my god, those big like vehicles, like the huge ones, those things are very strong, it looks like, for whatever is on the field here. Oh, we got heavy tank boys. Yeah, you get right to the action. I know, right? Is it a Steam game free to play? This is a Steam game. It is, I think it's gonna be free to play, but it's not gonna be out though for probably like another 6 months. They haven't even announced a release date, but I would say expect probably 6 months as like a general like timeline, because that's probably what it's gonna be like. Yeah, these games are so fast. They're so fast every time. It's like you could play 3 Battle Aces games in the time of 1 Starcraft game. Like the game's been going for 5 seconds, 6, 7 seconds, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We already have 2 military units, 3 military units here. At 12 seconds into a Starcraft game, you have 1 worker that you've built so far. It's free to play, but the units must be unlocked. You can unlock everything for free. I mean, I'm gonna unlock everything, boys. This game, I definitely like the speed of the game. Like right here, what Green's doing, I would totally do what Green's doing. I'd be like, yo, let's just like let our opponent lose resources by attacking us poorly. That's exactly what I would do right there. I think that what Parting is doing in this game, I feel like this would be such a good strat, because if you can actually like not lose your units, I don't know if every unit regens in this game or not, but being able to just like, you know, let's say like your opponent spends 500 resources, you spend 500 resources, and at the end of the trade, you still have 400 of it, they have 100 of it, and it's like, well, now they're down 300 resources. And if you can somehow repair your units, that'd be great. But if you can't, then obviously it's not like permanent gains there, because your units could die super easy in the future. I feel like Parting is winning this game, but I don't know how cheap these little like melee units are. There's so many of them. It's a lot of slicing dudes. Yeah, I guess actually Clem is probably winning this game because he's killing so many workers. So he actually is ahead of economy because of this. I got so many dead workers again. Shit. I feel like it would be cool. Here, I'll tell you this. I feel like for this game, I don't know what their plans are for the units, but I feel like it would be cool if, let's say, like, I actually think it would be cool if they did it like ViBElol a little bit. Unless, I don't know if they already did. But what I mean by that is each unit has, like, let's say, a choice of, like, 5 abilities. And you can give it, you can genuinely put 1 or 2 abilities on the unit or something like that. Like, maybe not, like, the more you have, the crazier it could be, but I feel like it would be basically, let me say it like this. I'm going to pause this really fast and say this. I feel like it would be really interesting in this game if your strategy could be like extra upgrades on 1 unit or more units with spread out upgrades and spread out supply and spread out stuff. Like if you could invest more money into less supply but stronger unit, I feel like that would be really cool for like variety purposes. Because I feel like at the end of the day, your balance would be interesting if it was balanced simply by your currency, as opposed to the unit itself. Even though like the unit itself still needs to be balanced within some reason. I just think being able to like super invest in 1 unit would be like really interesting as well. That would create so many different strategies. I doubt they'll do that though. I don't know.
We serve the prime.
That parting is pretty screwed in this game. He better do a big attack. Yeah, those range units are pretty good. Feels like I'm watching a bunch of adepts or something. Surrounded by a bunch of zerglings. I just kind of cannot kill them.
We are strong.
SC2 is way better than this game. Growl. Why do you think that? What makes you say that? We can macro like almost Klim, maybe? Maybe. SC2 is a different game. Yeah, also SC2 is also a game that has been out for 14 years. You're comparing it to a game that's an early access, like alpha. It's definitely not going to look the same thing. Let me show you something really fast. I love showing this to people just for fun, really fast. Just for haters, whenever I see one. Did you know that at one point in time this was StarCraft 2? Right here. Did you know that this was what StarCraft 2 looked like in the past? Yo, thank you very much for the sub. Ghost Rogue for the 89 months. Thank you, dude. This is what StarCraft 2 used to look like.
All we did at that point was just getting the old StarCraft 1 stuff actually working. And the explosions were absolutely awesome. So
And you have more StarCraft 2.
I think
Like the game looks definitely a lot different
so that was our first version.
when it's an alpha versus when it's polished after over a decade.
And then this was a couple months later. The Thor was much bigger back then. So we put in some special effects. We had our first experiments. You can
So
see
I don't
some
know.
balloons that
I
were
feel like people
suddenly
always
getting
get critical, right? People definitely get critical, but it's the game honestly looks sick. I think it does really. It looks really fast paced. It looks fun. It really does look like it's just quick gameplay, like in every way. It looks sick.
Should we start walking?
Like you could literally make a unit and attack your opponent's base with it within the first probably 25 seconds of a game. Like you can't even do that with a worker in StarCraft. Like it's definitely just a different game entirely. I think it's obvious now. Different factions, so many different openings. You can wall buildings, proxy buildings, ninja bases. Oh. Yeah, I will say the traditional RTS experience where you base build as well, I have no problem with it. It's fine. But I'm gonna say something really fast right now, okay? I'm gonna say something right now really fast. Because I want to just give an opinion on this, okay? I want to give an opinion on this. And you guys will probably either learn to believe it, maybe, or maybe the game flops. Like, who fucking knows, right? I don't know. I don't think this game will flop, though. But let me say it like this. The traditional RTS experience where you base build and then you also then micro, macro, multitask all of it. You have different tech choices, all that kind of stuff. It's honestly, it was super fun. It's a formula for an RTS that works. It's a good time. But the problem with a game like that, in my opinion, is you need to constantly update it and you need to constantly make new content for it. Otherwise, your community over time will leave. And that takes a lot of work to do that. And it takes a lot of time. And all of the current RTSs that have had that formula don't have like anything new coming out for it, nor is it planned for it either. Like, with the exception of maybe like an Age of Empires 5 or some shit like that. Yeah, like Starcraft 2, for instance, I'll just specifically focus on that one because that's the one you're talking about. Starcraft 2 is like every other game in the sense that if it's a competitive game that's meant to be like, you know, played at a high level, if you play with a small community size, like overall, like if you just play with like a very small amount of players because it's so restrictive for players to get into it, no matter who you are, no matter how much you love the game, no matter what, blah, 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 blah. If enough players leave, everybody has a breaking point where they will also leave. And it already has happened to a lot of people with everything StarCraft, Brood War, and 2. Like, it's just the nature of how it goes. And StarCraft 2 is definitely in a state right now where like the player pool is pretty small for that game overall, and you can really feel it the higher you get at it, the higher MMR you get at a game like that, the more you feel the smallness of the community because you play like the same people repeatedly, like over and over, for real. That's not, it's not an exaggeration. It's so real. The better you get at it, the more you feel it. And any experience that gets to be that way, I feel like it just kind of kills it for the majority of people. You'll get some crazy people that will like assume that that's like the best experience they're ever going to have in a video game, and they're just going to be as loyal as possible to it, or they love it so much they never want to quit. Sure, this happens to some people, but it's definitely not the average person. And me personally, any game that has a small community will just not be as exciting. And this game right here, this Battle Aces game, what they're doing is definitely widening the gap of like, hey, you could get in this game and you could have fun. And it doesn't mean that you like suddenly noobs are going to beat pros. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that instead of a player having a 0% chance against a pro, that's not a pro, now they have like a 1% chance. And basically all that happened is the skill ceiling got lowered a little bit because there's less you have to do, but it still is pretty high because you will never be able to out micro someone that is way better at micro than you, and also like decision making. Like you still won't beat them. But it's the same thing now. They basically did like the same thing to RTS with this game that like FPS already is. Like if you have a pro gamer like Counter-Strike player versus like a random average guy who just plays for fun, the guy who is a random guy, he might actually get a kill every once in a while on a pro gamer if he's lucky or some shit and he like gets a random headshot, he sprays or something. But on average, he's going to lose almost every time. But there is always a chance he might win. Just like in this game, I feel like you'll take an engagement and micro against somebody and fight somebody, and there is a chance where somebody might take, like, they might fuck up a little bit, like a pro, and they might actually lose a battle, even though they most likely are not going to lose the game. So as a newer player, this experience is going to be way less demoralizing for you. Like, you're going to literally get in and you're going to probably have fun, and you're going to feel like you're winning just as much as you're losing. Like, you're going to probably play this game and be like, oh, wow, like, I'm getting into it. Like, this is exciting. And there is definitely a lot of room to grow as a player. And it's, in my opinion, it's kind of crazy to think that this game is, like, not going to be interesting, because this game is going to have probably, like, high levels of crazy different kinds of micro based. And it really is based on, like, what units they add to the game, obviously. Like, if they add, like, a really cool selection of units into this game, that's just more shit you can do with these units. But at the end of the day, this game does have less storylines than a traditional RTS. It doesn't have like the build is happening. Oh man, this guy's build is going this way. That guy's build is going that way. Is he going to scout it? Like, obviously those things go away, but those things also, believe it or not, were like more time than actually watching a battle happen. Like, you would genuinely, there would be so many games in StarCraft 2 where you would watch people macro for fucking 10 minutes or like 8 minutes, and then you'd watch them fight for 30 seconds. And then the game would be like over. And that's just how it would go. So you'd have to like talk a bunch about like, all right, so this is probably what's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And this, you know, you just make up random stuff, talk about something that's not even related to the game because you're just like filling time, right? So Growl. Let me say something. Let me ask you one question, and then I'm gonna continue. You say you like the diversity of games like that you had in SC2. How much diversity? Like, I'm not gonna actually ask you overall. I'm just gonna say it. Just think about it for a second. How much diversity do you really think is in StarCraft 2? And then I'm gonna ask you a new question, and that question is, how come there is diversity in StarCraft 2? Why does it exist? And another question would be, do you think that this game objectively would have more diversity if, for instance, there were more units in this game than in StarCraft 2? Like, if we really think about it, how many units are in StarCraft 2? Like, I would say each race has about like 16 units. Right? So there's like 48 units in StarCraft 2 in total. It's like, roughly. Again, you could count it yourself. It's probably somewhere around there. I'm not saying it's exactly accurate, but there's like 48 units in StarCraft 2. What if this game had 100? I'm just saying a number, obviously. But if this game had 100 units, like, would you still be in the same mindset of this game has more diversity? Or StarCraft 2 has more diversity than this game? Because honestly, in StarCraft 2, there really is not as much diversity as you might think there is. There are definitely units that are shit for certain periods of time in the game where it just doesn't work, and you're forced to do things whether you realize it or not. And StarCraft 2, the diversity of that game, you have openers where you can cannon rush somebody, or you can play defensive and macro, or you can do a proxy build. Sure, but in this game, why couldn't you also do an aggressive build? Or why couldn't you do a defensive build? Or why couldn't you do a specialistic type build where like you figured out something specific that you're abusing in the game and you're going to keep doing it with like your unit choice? In StarCraft 2, like, just to put it in perspective, let's just say there's like 1 million builds that you could do in StarCraft 2, but then you could do 20 out of these 1 million builds. There are like 20 builds that would beat all of them except for the other 20. And then when it comes to the other 20, then it actually like matters, the little specific things that would change the outcome of winning or losing. But like at the end of the day, if a build is just bad, it doesn't matter how creative a build is. If it's bad, it's just irrelevant. So you really don't have, like, this is coming from my perspective. Your options in StarCraft 2 are actually somewhat limited if you're playing an equally skilled or better skilled opponent than yourself. Like, you don't actually have unlimited choices. You can't just do anything you want. You have to definitely play to a certain degree of like what's good. Like, for instance, here's an example. Let's say you're a Terran player and you're fighting a Zerg player, and you say you could build your buildings on the map any way you want, but then every single game Zergs rush you all in and they just run up your ramp and kill you, and you're like, wait, what? I can't do that. Oh, I have to block my ramp. Oh, I have to wall off. Like, you could say you could do anything, right? But the game has restrictions on you where you have to do them every time. And it's not just walling off, it's everything in that game. There's always something that is of a level of efficiency that will either be good and it will just make everything else like obsolete, that is not somewhere in the same realm as that, or it's just random and it's bad. At the end of the day, and you could obviously play against another bad player and you could have a great time and you guys could both be playing bad, but for like pro level play, there definitely is a lot of recycled play styles that you'll get all the time. Like, how many times have you seen a Terran player go Marine tank medevac against a Zerg player? And why doesn't Terran players, how come I've never seen a Terran player go only Hellbats all game? How come that doesn't happen? How come I haven't seen a Terran player go only Vikings all game? You know, in a pro tournament. It's because there's a lot of things that sound cool, but you literally can't do them. I feel like this game actually might have more range of option, believe it or not, because it doesn't have an economy that you have to develop. And I feel like when you have to develop an economy in StarCraft 2, a lot of times you have to defend it. And if you don't build something that's going to defend it properly and also at the right time, you lose it. And then you just lose the game. It's like the game's over. So like there actually is, I feel like more of like a set out path that you go on in StarCraft. I feel like it's a misconception thinking that StarCraft 2 is actually a game of diversity. It's really not. It's actually a game of massive repetition. The replays I saw, it looks unnatural. Yeah, I mean, let me read what you said. The amount of diversity in this game, I don't know this at this stage. Maybe it will, probably it will, but like the replays, it feels like it's unnatural for building and having a 10-minute timer. I see that it's going to be fun, but for it in the long term, I don't know. I feel like it's just, I don't really know what to tell you, honestly. I've already, like, I could repeat everything I just said, but I feel like we're wasting everyone's time at that point. So all I'll say is keep an open mind and be willing to try this game, because speaking as someone who's played StarCraft 2 for over 10 years, I actually feel like in that game, I actually did not have choices. I actually felt like almost every game I was forced to do something specifically if I wanted a chance at winning the game. And again, this is assuming my opponent is good. If my opponent is bad and I'm 10 times the player, then obviously this argument makes no sense, because you can do anything you want to someone who's worse than you every time, and it doesn't matter. But if your opponent will actually make you lose the game if you fuck up at all, you don't really actually have a lot of choice when it comes to that in StarCraft. You actually have to play like flawless, like the build you've practiced to a T. No room for error, because it's not about strategy at that point. It's about time, and it's about who does it faster. It's like for instance, let me say this one last thing. Sorry, I know I keep pausing it, but it's like the difference. Imagine playing two Terran players. Let's just say you're a Zerg player, and imagine playing two Terran players, two different games. They're both Terran, and let's say they both do the exact same build, at least what they think they're doing. But let's just say one player attacks you at 5 minutes and 24 seconds. And the other player attacks you at 5 minutes and 56 seconds. And it's like the guy who attacks you 30 seconds faster, his attack is so much harder to hold versus the guy who attacks you 30 seconds later. And maybe he also knows how to micro it better too. But like, just the simple fact that he does it more efficiently and faster makes him a better player. Yeah. And it makes it to where like you understand at that point when you play against someone like that, you actually just get fucking owned by the people like this if you're not also playing efficient yourself. Like you just can't do anything you want. You get destroyed by people who are good if you play like that. You have to like know what's good and you have to like understand it. Yo, thank you for the gifted sub, Anonymous. ODG. Thank you for the gift. I really do think this game is going to be more welcoming to newer players. And I think this game is going to actually foster a larger community. Just by that simple fact alone. I feel like a lot of people would play StarCraft 2, play a ladder game, get shit on 3 times in a row, and be like, dude, this is way too sweaty for me. I'm not interested anymore. And again, I'm someone who played tons of RTS throughout my life, and I like RTS overall. But I will say at the end of the day, I hate when I play an RTS game, or any game for that matter, when there's no community on it anymore. The lack of community will ruin any game. Especially when it's a competitive one. Shorter matches are accessible? They're definitely. I think shorter matches are very accessible. Like, just to give you guys an example again, just because something is like a storyline that's built up for like 45 minutes and, you know, it is pretty epic, it's not like that's like gonna happen every time either, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie, the format for StarCraft 2 or like traditional RTS is really cool sometimes. Like, there are some tournaments that I've been to in person where I myself have either had a game that's like going around like 45 minutes long now, or you watch a someone else, like a different pro gamer, and it's like, let's say it's like the quarterfinals, and it's like a 37-minute game, and it's crazy. Like, you don't know who's gonna win. Yes, those games will never be recreated in a game like this, but those games were like 1 out of 100 in StarCraft 2, and you'd have like 99 games, or maybe not 99, but like you'd have a bunch more. I would say it was a more common game. The more common situation in StarCraft 2 of a game you would watch would be a game where both players are macroing, no one's attacking at all, and then an attack happens and the game just ends. It's over. The game is over. Like, someone just died. It's like 10 minutes of macro, 30 seconds of micro, game's over. That happens a lot more, I would say, than a 37-minute nail biter or like a 1-hour nail biter. Like, those games are very infrequent, but when they do happen, they're super epic and they're awesome to watch, but they're super infrequent. So it's hard to say, like, is it worth it to just keep the format that way for the occasional game, when most of them can be very boring, especially when you get a player who has a really boring playstyle. Like, there was an era for StarCraft 2 where like a lot of games would genuinely be somebody just setting up swarm host right away before even anything would happen, and they would turtle for over an hour. And games like that are honestly what killed StarCraft 2, believe it or not. Like, games like that are what made so many people leave the community back in like 2013. I really feel like the first year of Heart of the Swarm did so much damage to StarCraft 2, it's crazy. And honestly, the main thing I'm looking at here, when I watch these battles, the main thing I'm looking at is how clean each unit looks when their attack animation, how clean they look when they move, how clean they look when they all move. Like, what does this game look like it's going to be like when you micro? And it looks clean, honestly. This game looks like it would be very responsive to micro. And that's great, because everything else can be updated over time. Like, if the units don't look very interesting, well, guess what? It's alpha. They can definitely add more units to the game over time and make them more interesting and rework them over time too. So don't get too dead set on like the units don't look good if you feel that way. Like, if they look boring or something, because it's so early in the game's like design. All right, I'm starting another one. I'm gonna watch like 2 more, then I think we're gonna play some Elden Ring, guys. Honestly, the game looks sick. I'm actually like pretty stoked about getting to be able to play this. Vibe, do you have any opinions on how they should approach maps in this game? Keep them simple, big variety. This is my opinion on maps. How many different units are there in this game right now? So this is something I'll be able to answer more in 6 days. I haven't, me personally, I have, okay, there someone else has the answer already, thank you. I haven't played the game yet. I haven't actually experienced it yet, so I don't actually know. But 45 right now, 50 on release, that's a lot. Yeah, exactly. And think about this, just think about this, Mr. Growl. Let me like, from a developer's standpoint, from a game developer standpoint, think about how easy it would be to add another unit into this game that does not have to be added into like a race tree, a tech tree, a talent tree, like all these different things. It could be like an isolated unit, right? Because I assume in this game, you pick your roster at the start of the game. Again, I haven't seen that either, but I'm assuming that's how this works. You just pick 8 units because everyone has 8 units. So you pick the 8 that you like. So you can literally make your own race, essentially, with your own roster. It's like your faction you've made. And you have strengths and weaknesses that you've created in it, because every combination of units is going to have some level of weakness and some level of strength. And you could actually have way more customization, potentially, in a game like this, especially if they keep adding units to the game. And I really hope they add different versions of upgrades that you can put on your units, too. That would be so sick. I would love that.
Looking towards them.
This game would actually have so much, it could actually have so much more customization than a game like Starcraft ever did. Because in Starcraft 2, you can't customize a Marine. It will always have Stimpak and Combat Shield. You cannot customize a Zergling. It will always have movement speed and attack speed, which is adrenal glands and metabolic boost. You can't customize a fucking Stalker. It will always have Blink. You can't customize an Adept. It will always have its Shade ability and the Glaive upgrade. Like, Zealots will always have Charge. Like, you know, like it's there. If in this game, if you can actually customize upgrades for units and shit too, if there's ranges of choices there, that will be so sick. Draft, exactly, dude. Now you're thinking, bro. Draft. Let's fucking talk about a draft. That's how you balance it right there. You actually can ban shit. You know, I hate this upgrade with my current roster I run, I'm gonna ban that thing because I hate fighting against it. Controlling units has always been my least favorite part of RTS. This game doesn't seem like it's for me, but as someone who never got into mid-masters, micro's always been frustrating for me.
Where are my brothers?
Micro is really satisfying once you're good at it. I'll tell you that right now.
Standing strong.
There is an awkward, like not awkward, but there is a level of satisfaction that a person gets, at least me personally. There is a level of satisfaction that I personally get whenever I see my opponent in an RTS style game trying to attack me and I out micro them and then I crush the battle. I like whether I'm defending it or whether I'm attacking them. Whenever I have moments where I micro in a way where like it looks like I should have lost, but now I win because I microed really well there, it is very satisfying. It is super satisfying. And I feel like once you start having those yourself, you start really like just, you get more interested because you start thinking about how you can set up fights in the future even better. You start min-maxing like what you can do to like prepare for a fight before it even happens. And then whenever, like when you do this a few times and you actually, every time you get attacked or something by your opponent, and let's say everyone's like doing a similar build lately, it's like a meta has evolved and they're just like doing this meta thing to you and you know how to counter a meta already. It's so satisfying doing that, especially through micro. It's very satisfying to lose all your Marines to a disruptor. But you know what's more satisfying than that? When a disruptor shoots at you and you split your Marines in 3 different directions and you dodge the entire shot like all together. And you're like, and then you like stem forward and kill the disruptor and then you feel like a god. Then you're like, oof. Counter microed that bitch. This game looks like Zoomer bait. I'm a believer this game looks interesting, dude. This game looks fun. And we also might need some zoomer bait, guys. Let's be real. We're playing, we're getting older. None of us are getting younger here, okay? Your bodies are starting to droop towards the ground more, mine included. Your hair is changing colors or falling out. We need some fresh blood in the fucking RTS scene, whether you guys realize it or not. Not even 20 years ago, the guy playing this game right now was just born. That we're watching. I don't know which one Clem is, but Clem probably is not much older than 20 years old right now. How old is Clem actually? I'm gonna find it out right now. Clem is age unknown. What the fuck? Doesn't share his age. Okay, I have no idea how old he is. I looked at his Team Liquid profile, but it doesn't say it there. But yeah, he's 22. He's timeless. Clem's 30. No, he's definitely young as shit. But yeah, we definitely need some younger players, for sure. I think Artosa said this game is always bottom left and top right. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'll definitely have a lot more answers myself for like specifics and stuff like that when I start playing it too. I haven't played yet myself, but I will get to play when beta goes live, which is on the 25th. But right now, concept is pretty simple. I'm gonna say concept is pretty simple, but it is also potentially very exciting. I'm gonna watch one more. Is this, this is so like a game that we played on a phone. The units look responsive. They do look responsive. They really do. Like the units are clean. The health bar graphic, the unit graphic is clean. Like the readability of this game is there. Like I don't give a shit what anyone's saying right now. Like this is definitely an alpha, and the readability of this game is there already for micro fight, like for, you know, small scale or large scale micro fights. I'm not going to say the units are there, but the way the game, the engine, like the way it looks, it definitely looks like it's there. The units move cleanly as hell. Like they look very clean. Everything about every unit in this game is clean. It's like, it looks like a smooth experience. So that at least in itself is well done. And that's a great first sign for a brand new game, especially one that's not even out of the alpha yet. Watch out for the big green lizards. The green lizards! You'll see what I mean. I'm sure I will. This looks like a purely micro game. It is. I'll give you guys my wrapped up take on this after I watch. This will be the last game I watch, and then I'll give you guys an opinion on it after the end here. Or I'll load up another one after this, and I'll do my like opinions overall now after I've seen what I've seen. And then I'll post that to YouTube for anyone that wants to know what I think about it. Also, keep in mind too, just to make sure you guys understand, just to make sure that you guys all understand this too, I wouldn't worry too much about everybody playing this game like a noob either. Like if you look at this game, like someone might be thinking this, and I want to make sure you guys understand this is real as well, to like just know this. you might be looking at this and going, why does this game seem like every single time everybody just runs to the middle and clashes? And then it's like a blob versus a blob, and then it's over. It doesn't seem that interesting. It seems boring. It seems not that good. It seems like it's really simple-minded, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you're thinking negative things about it, honestly, everyone that's playing this game is a fucking noob at it. No one knows shit about this game right now. No one knows anything about it. And you're watching two pro gamers of other games play this game right now, and they've probably played this game for a total of like an hour or like 3 hours or 5 hours maybe. Like they've probably played this game for like within 1 week of time, and not even versus like other people really. It's like versus developers or something like that, or like maybe even versus the AI. Like there's really limited amounts of like ways you can really increase your skill level at the game right now. You really need a community to grow a skill level at a game, honestly, even if people are already good, because these guys don't even know what the units are. They don't even know what the units can even do. They're probably making random units. They're like, I'll make that, I guess. And it's like, well, how good is this actually? You don't really know until you see it. So everyone is going to play like they're a massive noob right now. Like there's even some tactics already going on, but they're not. Like these players aren't going to be playing insane right now, but give it like a year or give it 2 years and people will like grow skill levels like crazy, especially if a large community exists there. And then suddenly the games will get fucking chaotic. Like people might be using like 7 control groups or something like that. Or like they might have like 7 prong attacks because they don't have to macro anything. It's like they have like harass everywhere. Like it totally could turn into that. So if you think the game looks boring right now too, because the way that people are playing it, just keep in mind these people know nothing about this game right now, so it's like completely confusing to everybody right now. So the level of play is going to be super simple. Because for all we know, this is the first time Clem has ever made that unit right there. That's the one that's coming on the top right. Maybe that's for Clem's first time making that thing, and he's like, I don't know, we'll see. Very possible. Don't you think some decks are going to outclass other decks, like Clash Royale? Not necessarily, because they're going to, if they actually want it to have a competitive scene, they're going to balance the game. So, let me say it like this. Growl. Do you think Clash Royale was advertised as a competitive esport or a mobile game they want you to spend money on? Just for the shits and giggles. Because this game, I imagine, is probably going to be advertised as more of an esport than as, you know, a cash grab money mobile game. Because I mean, I played Clash Royale a little bit myself, and I don't think the game is necessarily like shit or anything like that. But there's definitely a lot of pay to win in that game, for sure. And this game, by default, is not pay to win, and there will be definitely more of an emphasis on an esports scene. So a concept of balance will definitely be more involved with this game. So there's a lot of benefit of the doubt that you can give this game. Right now, at least. And again, the engine for this game looks very nice. I like the way units' death animations are happening. I like the way units move around and they're like shooting while moving. It does not look clunky at all. I like how different units have different move speeds, and when they collide with each other, it is not clunky as shit. Like, this game does not look clunky at all. It looks very clean. This game's engine looks like it could be as good as Starcraft 2's engine. Just by watching combat. And that's not something that every RTS can say for itself, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I have not even played this game, but look at it. Do you think this looks like shit? Like, look past the graphics, look past the simple combat where they're just fighting blob versus blob, and look at the graphics of the game and look at how it looks like when it's running, and tell me that this does not look smooth. Like, it looks smooth and clean, and there's so much room like, that this game can grow if the engine is good. The units suck though. I mean, they totally can. Should I load up that alpha fucking Starcraft video again? Even if the units suck, they look pretty clean. Like, look at that unit's back. Like the big one that's in the middle here. Like this guy. Like, it looks detailed. It looks like a detailed unit that looks clean. I might not, like, everyone might not like the way it looks overall, but it looks like it's not like a fucking mess. It looks precise. It looks organized. And yeah, they're gonna add more content to this game, 100%, guys. They're not gonna make you play one map forever. It's not. Don't think you're playing Dota right now. It's not. This isn't Dota. There will be more maps. Because map is literally a part of balance when it comes to micro. So like there has to be more maps. Because like for instance, right now, everyone sucks balls in this game. No one knows what's going on. But there probably is a composition that you could make that would just absolutely steamroll open fight engagements. Like an example of it that's similar to StarCraft 2 would be like Charge Law Archon Immortal. Like Charge Law Archon Immortal is amazing if you have a lot of open surface area. It does so good because Zealots get nice spreads. They get all the Zealots get to be effective. The Immortals get to spread out in a nice concave and all of them get to shoot. The Archons get to spread out in a nice concave and they all get to shoot. Like it's a super A move friendly composition with big open areas. But then if you try to like A-move Archon Immortal Charge Lot into a hallway, like a little thin hallway, it's gonna underperform like crazy. The Zealots are gonna like block a bunch of the Immortals and Archons from even being able to attack at all because they're gonna be too far away. And then the Zealots are melee and they're not even gonna be able to attack because they're not in range because they're all stuck in a hallway. Only like the front line can attack. Like there will be a composition that will own a map like this. And then it's like, well, on maps like this, I would imagine that kind of a composition will become more threatening. And then it changes the balance of the game. So maps that are more thin, maps that are more whatever, more flying based, I don't fucking know what this game's gonna have entirely, but maps absolutely change balance of game in RTS games. And it doesn't matter if there is or there isn't workers that you're making like in StarCraft. This game still actually does have bases and workers in it. It's just that it doesn't seem like you build them. It seems like you just have to protect them. Or they die. Blow your nose. I'm sick right now. I can't. I'm sorry. I'll get a nose surgery one of these days, and it'll fix my nose problems. But for now, you're gonna have to deal with it. I'm so sorry. All right, boys. Okay. So I'm actually no, not this one. I'm gonna open another one, and then we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Okay. This is only 4 minutes. That's not long enough. That's very short. Do this one. When does this game come out? Probably in like 6 months. Or 6 months to a year, but probably 6 months. I don't know. Maybe less than 6 months. The beta is starting on the 25th of this month, so and that's the start of the early access beta. Not everybody. It's early access only. So if you're not invited, you won't be able to play. However, guys, I'm going to have some keys to give away. And you know what? I mean, I don't know how fast they're going to be giving betas out, but I can at least give a beta key out to somebody. Ooh, but I don't have one yet. But when I do, I'll let you guys know. follow the socials if you want to know about it. I'll definitely post about it before I do it. Here you go. Let me link those for you right now, or follow the stream, because I also stream a lot. I actually don't have beta keys right now, but I would say if you want to safe guess, the 25th of June would be the perfect time to probably pay attention, because I bet they're probably going to give beta keys out on beta day. Again, I don't have them yet. I do not have them yet, but it is confirmed that I will have not only my own beta, but also extra keys to give away. So I'll definitely try to do it in a fair way. So whoever donates the most gets them. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. Okay, let's do this for real. I'm gonna talk about this game. This is a YouTube video now, guys. YouTube video. I'm gonna make a YouTube video. So I'm not gonna answer chat anymore. And I'm not gonna make you guys buy beta keys. I'm totally joking. But I will give out some, whatever I can. All right, YouTube video. I'm gonna start it right now. Hi guys, welcome to Battle Aces. I'm posting 2 videos today. One is gonna be probably like an hour and a half, and the other is gonna be just this one, probably like 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15. I tend to talk, I'm long-winded. But this is my review on Battle Aces. After watching this game for the last hour and a half on my stream, I can say that I am actually optimistic about the future of this game. I do think that this game, just by looking at it right now, you're seeing it right here too. And again, if you want to see more, you always can. And the other video I posted, or other people are posting videos too. But the game looks clean. It looks nice. It like, just when I look at these units, it looks polished. And a statement I just made on my stream like 10 minutes ago, I haven't even played this game yet, but just by looking at it, I would say this game's graphics, this game's animations for like, I'm not saying the how cool I think it looks or anything like that, but just how clean it looks. I feel like it definitely rivals a game like Starcraft 2. Like the terrain, you might not like the way it's designed, but it looks very clean. The units, the way they move on it, the way they move with each other, it looks very clean. The attack animations when it hits a unit and the way the health bar ticks, it looks very clean. Like this game looks like it's gonna have a lot of opportunities for really specific, intricate micro, very Blizzard-esque style micro. Like if you've ever enjoyed watching a fight of like a Protoss versus a Terran, or like you know, a Warcraft 3 player. You like watching fights in Warcraft 3, you like watching fights in Starcraft 2. I feel like this game will give you something that you would enjoy to watch, honestly. I'm not being paid to say any of this, by the way. Just so you guys know, make sure that's clear. This game, coming from my perspective, the perspective of a person who's been playing RTS games since like 1996. I'm 37. I think this game looks sick. Like the way the game just, the way the units interact with each other, and the way the units interact with the building, and the way the units interact with the terrain, it looks very clean. I like it a lot. It does not look clunky at all, really. And I can already see so much potential for such thorough levels of micro. Like, for instance, an example, like, do you see that Blink is in this game? You can literally have, you're gonna get players that are like Blink Stalker microing all day in this game. And it's not just gonna be like just that unit, there's gonna be like, you know, it looks like there's a lot of choice in this game too. And I fully imagine with the way this game is designed, I could see them making a lot more units in it too, for having a lot more diversity in the game going forward. So right now, this game is early. This is an alpha build of the game at the moment, and it looks nice. It looks really nice. This looks great for an alpha. Game will probably change a lot, but it already is impressing me in as early of a state of the game as it is in. Like I like it. Now, with that being said, a couple things that I maybe like wishful thinking that I want to say for this game. I think it would be really cool if this game does try to make a large roster, so you do have quite a bit of variety to be going with, you know, with whatever you want to pick. I don't know exactly how your composition works though. It looks like you get 8 choices, and maybe you get to pick 8 choices, or like it's preset. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I feel like being able to pick your roster is sick. I like that a lot. It's like you can make your own race essentially, like a composition you really enjoy playing with, and you're really thorough about the weaknesses and the strengths of your own composition and stuff like that. So I think it's cool. I like that this game has more than 1v1 a lot. I like that they're already going for 2v2, and I think it would be maybe even cooler if they even go bigger than 2v2. Personally, I think a high-level team competitive format like 4v4 could be really interesting, maybe 3v3, but like just, I feel like more variable could be exciting. With players in it and like craziness of what could be happening here. The way I would describe it is I feel like it would be really cool if you could have one of the most, think about one of the most epic fights you've ever watched in like another RTS game. It could be Starcraft 2. A lot of people in my channel probably will resonate with Starcraft 2. So imagine a Starcraft 2 fight that you watched that was amazing and you're like, holy God, that was so epic. And you barely ever get to see those because it's you know, it's rare games ever get to that extreme of a point. And it was like it was a really exciting game you've watched in the past. Now imagine if like you had 4 players in a game like this, and 4 players are like, you know, they're really good, they're pros, they practice together, they've synergized really well together, and they've gotten really good at working together. And now maybe it's like 4 pros on one team and 4 pros on another team in a pure micro game, and it's like watching an insane battle unfold while 4 players micro. It'd be like what Archon mode was supposed to be. But in reality, what Archon mode really was in StarCraft 2 was 1 player most of the time macroing and 1 player a lot more microing. Very rarely would you actually have 2 players playing the mode properly, I feel like. Even though it did happen, but I feel like a lot of people just took it as, oh, 1 micros and 1 macros. And at the end of the day, I also do feel like you need to kind of appeal to a broader range of an audience other than the top pro gamer list, right? Like, I don't really feel like the only thing that matters is the pros. I feel like people actually wanting to play this game and have fun playing it does matter a lot because, like, having a community that does exist on the game is pretty important. Speaking as someone that has played games where the community is popping off and playing games where the community is 3 people, it feels like is a big difference there in how much you care and are having fun on a daily basis. So I definitely think the entry way for newer players into this game is definitely there. Micro is definitely, like, you know, having less responsibility on a player and being able to just focus on micro, which is what everybody either is good at or wishes they were good at, definitely is gonna make a lot of people better at micro. This game, if you're bad at micro, this game is probably a speed run and how to become better at it, because it's pretty much all you're gonna be doing in this game. And then strategically, like how you use your units. I feel like it's going to be great. I feel like it's going to be fun. I like the fast pacing of it all. One more thing I would like to add to the game, or to say I would like to be added to the game, would be just diversity inside unit. I don't know if you have choices of upgrades for units, maybe, or like maybe there's like upgrades that are like preset that you can, that like maybe there's like a blink upgrade and this can be applicable to 25 different units, but it's not required. It's not like if I have a unit that can blink, it's the only thing I could ever do with it. What if like you could have, like, just in terms of like StarCraft 2 terms, we're gonna replay this so I can keep talking. I talk longer, sorry, but I just want some visuals to talk to. Let's just say in StarCraft 2, metabolic boost, like speedling, movement speed upgrade, and then you have like charge lot speed upgrade for a zealot. They both are a speed upgrade, but they're not the same. They do work differently. One is like a constant, really fast speed upgrade, and the other one is like a lesser upgrade of speed, but it has the ability to literally charge, which is when a zealot is charging, it is going faster than any other unit in the game, basically, until it connects, and then it goes back to its like slightly upgraded speed over what it was prior. Like, it's different utility for these upgrades, and if you can mix and match units with different upgrades, it would be really interesting, I feel like. Also, a little bit more crazy of an idea, but I also think it might be interesting to explore the idea of maybe for like extra money, extra resource, more expensive than what the upgrade already costs, maybe you could like stack multiple upgrades on one unit type, and maybe you could play this game with either a composition that's diverse or like less diverse composition that has more stacked upgrades, and maybe you can like maximize how many could be on a unit, so there's no like super imbalanced combinations where you have like 8 upgrades on one unit or something like that. And also, I feel like this could be really cool for like team play too. I feel like for like 2v2 or above, if you could have really crazy combinations, you could have some really wild ideas coming out from builds that people could run in tournaments and stuff like that. So I feel like that would be a really cool idea for longevity of game. And if this game is constantly getting balanced and like being looked at for like a pro scene, I feel like crazy ideas would definitely be good for the scene, because it would, if something is too crazy, it can always get changed. But trying to keep things within reason obviously is the goal, but it also creates a lot more fun situations that could exist that otherwise might not exist. Because I do feel like if the game is just as simple as like, this unit always has blink and that's all it will ever do, that's how you, I feel like that's how you get units that get phased out of a meta super fast, especially if the roster gets really big, because you'll get units that like just kind of suck and there's always better alternatives and they just never get used. So just interesting ideas, I feel like, that could be in the game. And maybe honestly, instead of having like multiple upgrades on one unit, I feel like having the ability to customize the upgrades of a unit would still be really cool. So like another example would be, what if upgrades in this game had tiers? And like, instead of having like, you know, just tier 1, 2, 3 like weapons and armor, you could have like tier 1, 2, 3 blink, tier 1, 2, 3 speed upgrade, tier 1, 2, 3 range upgrade. And obviously it just makes the upgrade itself more potent than what it was before. So like blink can go farther, or it can have a shorter cooldown, or it does something when it goes in the area, it stuns units or something. It does something interesting. I feel like if this kind of a formula was put into this game, there would be ways and systems and stuff that could be made around it to balance it out. But I really feel like that would give this game some crazy replayability of like, you know, you just never really know what to expect, but like you can see it before it happens, because maybe like there's signifiers like this, your opponent is running this, just so you know. So it's not like, you know, incredibly OP blindsidey things can just instantly kill you every time. I know that would definitely make balancing the game a lot harder if that actually was in the game, but I feel like if it was, that would also make the game more interesting. But if it doesn't have it, I still think the game is interesting at the end of the day, because this game genuinely looks like it has a really clean looking micro, and it's really fast paced. So like, you're gonna have like, on average, maybe a 5 to 7 minute micro fest, and then the game's gonna be over. And I feel like that's good pacing with high intensity. Because people might think to themselves, dude, StarCraft 2, you're playing at 400 APM for 30 minutes or for 20 minutes at a time sometimes. But like, you're macroing most of the time. Most of the time is literally macroing. It's a much different experience microing the entire time versus macroing the entire time. And I feel like one simple form of that is going to be, people are going to feel more intense when you're fighting against a player as opposed to like doing a repetitious AI command, like injecting your bases or something like that. Like, people will literally get tired way faster having the micro non-stop, because it's going to be more intense. They're going to be more tensed up when they're playing. There's so much more factors there that people are going to fatigue out faster in this format. So I think it's a great format. I think the pacing of the games does seem good. It seems fun. I want to play it. I haven't played yet. Just so everyone knows, I have not personally played the game yet. I'll make another video when I actually play the game. This is just my first impressions. But it looks fun, honestly. This game looks like it has an amazing engine to build off of. I love the vibrant art style, even though it's not a unanimous consensus that like everyone loves the models of all the units and the models of what's in the terrain and stuff like that. I think they're fine overall at the end of the day. And I'm excited to see how they explore it further in the future and see what they come up with. But it looks vibrant, it looks very nice. I love the death animations of these units. Again, in an alpha build of the game. I can't wait to see what it looks like, if it even gets more polished than this. But I love like the coloring of the unit scheme. Like, it looks overall. I feel like there's like a glaze to like some of these units, like the windshield on that tanky unit we just looked at. It looks nice. I am impressed by the art of this game overall. Like the again, I'm not talking about exactly like all the models of every unit, but just what it is at its core. It looks like it has a lot to work with. So I would give this game 2 Vibu thumbs up. I don't know why my camera's not on the, or no, it is. I am just kidding. My camera's in top left. I for whatever reason thought it was bottom right, but yeah, 2 Vibu thumbs up, guys. I'm excited to play it, and yeah, I mean, I'll have a lot more ideas and stuff like that of my own thoughts and stuff in this game, but I really think customization in this game is what will make this game so sick at the end of the day. And I really, really, really do hope that team games get some love in this game, because I think 1v1 is awesome. I love 1v1. I'm gonna play 1v1. I'm gonna be all about it. I feel like team games will foster a community so much more than just 1v1 would ever do. Even though 1v1 can still be an addition to it, which would be fine. But yeah, those are my thoughts. That's kind of what I want it to be. Thank you for watching. And yeah, like I said before, one more time, if you guys want to see more than that, if you want to see me talking about this game for like the full segment, not just this little bit, there's going to be another video just like it that is extra long. Yeah, nice. Anyways, we play this in 6 days. It's the 19th right now, or yeah, 6 days, 5 days, 6 days. I can do math. 6 days I play this, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.